I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You just got diagnosed. Maybe it was cancer, or heart disease, or depression, or ADHD. Maybe it came with charts and language you didn't understand. Or maybe it was said so plainly it felt like a sentence, not a statement. Whatever it was, you heard it. And something inside you left the room. Because nothing feels real now. Your name feels distant. Your timeline fractured. The world goes on, but you're suspended, watching it from behind glass. This isn't just shock. It's a psychic rupture. And yet, as strange as it sounds, this moment isn't here to punish you. It's here to interrupt you, to call forward something truer than the version of you who ran on autopilot. That diagnosis? It didn't create the rupture. It revealed it. Because underneath the plans, the striving, the invincibility script, you've been carrying something soft, fragile, listening, waiting. And now, it finally has the microphone. This video isn't going to tell you how to heal. It won't wrap you in cliches or silver linings. But it will give you something far rarer. A way to stand inside this fracture and not disappear. A way to name what's real when nothing feels like it is. A way to walk through this as an initiation, not a malfunction. You are not lost. You are on the threshold. And what's about to unravel next is everything you thought you needed to survive. Keep watching, because what falls away next will change how you carry the rest of your life. The unraveling doesn't begin with tears. It begins in the silence, that long, humming pause where your mind tries to pretend things are still normal. You check your calendar, you answer emails, you fold clothes. You try to remember what you were doing before the diagnosis came, as if you can pick the thread back up. But it's gone, because the thread wasn't yours anymore. It belonged to the story you were telling. The one where your body always cooperated, where time stretched ahead like a promise, where you still believed you had control. This diagnosis didn't just mark your health, it shattered your map. And now, everything false begins to fall. Not all at once, but piece by piece. The myth of invincibility, the unspoken bargain. If I'm good, nothing bad will happen. The silent performance of pretending you're fine so other people don't get uncomfortable. Even the way you used to measure time, that's gone now too. The days don't stretch forward like they used to. They hover, they throb, each one holding the question, now what? But this dismantling, as terrifying as it feels, is not collapse. It is sacred erosion, the soul peeling away what no longer fits. You don't need to rush to rebuild, because the one who would rebuild no longer exists. And what rises next? That's the part of you that doesn't need certainty to keep breathing. That's who you're about to meet, in the mirror coming up next. At some point in the quiet, maybe during a late-night stare at the ceiling, or in the fluorescent hush of a waiting room, you'll feel it. A presence. Not external, not divine, but familiar, ancient, unshakable. Something that doesn't flinch when the diagnosis repeats in your head. Something that watches without fear. This is the mirror. And what you see now isn't the frightened patient, or the identity you wore before the diagnosis. What you see is the one who remains. After the plans have crumbled, after the labels have landed, after your old self gave up trying to pretend this wasn't real. She doesn't need to be strong. He doesn't need to be optimistic. It doesn't need to make sense. Because this presence, this you behind the you, isn't here to fix or fight. It's here to witness. The mirror isn't glass. It's the stillness that rises when the mind gives up its scrambling. It's the knowing that you are not your treatment, not your brain scan, not your blood work. You are what remains aware through all of it. This presence doesn't speak in comfort. It speaks in truth. And the truth is this: you were never meant to perform health or chase normal or keep others comfortable with your quiet endurance. You were meant to know yourself beyond the story, and that self is here now, steady, unblinking, and unbreakable. But it's not done, because after the witnessing comes the turning. And what begins in the next breath isn't about insight, it's about re-entry. Coming up next, what it means to live after the unraveling. The turning doesn't come with answers. It comes with a breath that lands differently. A sip of tea that tastes like presence instead of distraction. A moment, unremarkable maybe, where you realize you've stopped bracing against your own life. This isn't recovery. It's not triumph. It's not about becoming positive or grateful or spiritually enlightened. It's quieter than all of that. It's the moment you stop resisting what is and start inhabiting what's left. There's a shift when you stop trying to get back to who you were, when you stop searching for the old rhythm, when you realize you can never go back, and something in you doesn't want to. Because there's an honesty here. No more pretending, no more performance, no more running. Just the beat of your own aliveness, stripped of certainty, but real. And real is enough. You may still be afraid. You may still not know what's next, but now you're here, breath by breath, and presence in its rawest form is more powerful than any plan. This isn't about getting your life back. It's about getting yourself back, the one who can live without needing to explain, prove, or escape. You are not rebuilding the old. You are inhabiting what's real. And in the final section, we return, not as the person you were, but as the one who walked through fire and now walks forward, clean. The return is next, and it begins now. You don't go back after this. Not to normal, not to who you were, not to the story that said health was a guarantee, that life followed a straight line, that certainty was ever real. You return, yes, but to something different, to a rhythm that doesn't rush, to a breath that doesn't beg, to a presence that doesn't need to be whole to be worthy, because you walked through a moment that tore the illusion away, and you didn't vanish. You stayed, even in the numbness, even in the ache, even when the world moved on and you felt like a question with no answer. Now, you walk differently, not because you've been fixed, but because you stopped trying to hold up a life that no longer holds you. You belong to something truer now, not the diagnosis, not the prognosis, but the part of you that watched it all and chose to keep breathing. There may still be fear, there may still be grief, but there is no longer confusion about who you are. You are not the chart. You are the clarity that emerged when the chart was handed to you, and that clarity walks with you now. You don't rise because they gave you hope. You rise because the lie of control collapsed, and you remained. You rise because what fell wasn't real, and what returns in you now simply is. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.